Skye, how does it feel to be right all along this whole week? You've been saying, guys, relax. This is all part of the plan.
Okay, so like I said, relax. But what happened today? Whoa. What happened today? That wasn't the latter part. The second half wasn't the plan. But yeah. I was like, relax. So
yeah, well, the first part, they came out of the gate and it was like, oh, we know this team. We know this team that came out.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then, but then there were some substitutions that happened that were perhaps a little
like no. Don't take the
why would you take Lynn Williams out when Lynn Williams is scoring the goals and the assists? Why would you do that?
Why would you take out Sam Ewis when she's actually helping put size in the midfield and they can't just like run through?
I was confused by Lynn also because I guess he presented it as I guess he tried to say penalty kicks. I'm like,
he said
we've been playing for penalties.
Yeah, he said something weird in the post conference that was like, well, you kind of have to prepare for the future and for future games and for penalties, but like
at 57 minutes,
right? Exactly.
Like this was her first game,
right? She's played 16 minutes. She's fine. She's fine.
Yeah, because I was like, if you put her, because I was like, okay, wow, Sam plays great with Lynn. Of course, they play on the same team. So keep that together wherever that goes on the field. Keep snacks together on that side of the pitch.
Snacks package deal. Keep them together.
Yeah, keep them together. Don't try to put Sam with Kristen because in the first game, I think when I look back at it, it was like Sam was trying to figure out how to play with Kristen instead of actually dropping back to defend to protect Crystal. Mm-hmm. And so that's when everything was off the rails. But if you keep Sam with Lynn, then it's like, oh, that's beautiful. That's great. So they put Lindsay or whoever behind Kristen and just put all them on the field. And then at some point, kids, you got to keep Julie Ertz because the right side of the back line was struggling. Was bad. Then if you got to keep Julie Ertz in and you can't get too crazy yet until you got 5 goals, because we need 5 goal separation because Meadham was up here scoring goals. That shit not happen.
Just dancing on the head of a pin. Just doing
that shouldn't happen. So if we're gonna do that, we got to keep Julie back there to protect the back line. Then at least just put somebody centrally.
Yes,
Kirsty, anybody, somebody to go for it.
We have another Mewis. Why don't we use her?
I would use her,
and she runs centrally, and she gets in the box.
Yeah,
but I'm like, at least just wait until you at least had Kristen, Sam, Lynn on the field at the same time, just to create chances. Because there were issues where either, particularly Carly was getting held up, so she wasn't coming in the box, but Lynn was in the box, or Sam was in the box, or in the case of Tobin, somebody else was in the box, but you needed one more person in the box to score the ball. So you would, at least with Kristen, she would drift somewhere and at least appear, or she would be the person who serviced the Lynn or the Sam or anybody and just get the 3 goals and then take them out.
This would have been the game to do Crystal Lindsay, Kristen on the left.
Yes.
This would have been the game for that. And if you play Kristen and Lynn at the same time, you stretch a defense.
I would have been on the floor.
And like that Dutch back line's been shaky all tournament.
They've been like the most scored on.
Right. I would want that speed on the ball running at my back line pretty consistently. Particularly they're missing their best defender. Right. So I don't understand his aversion to playing Lynn and Kristen at the same time. I don't know why you're saving that at this point.
Is he, you think he's just like overthinking things?
Oh yeah.
Right now?
Yeah.
I mean, okay. I will say this. If he thought because you're going to play Brazil or Canada and then you knew it was going to be Canada and you know what happens with Canada, you were then trying to preserve Kristen. Because I didn't realize how tired Kristen was until it was about the 70th minute. And I was like,
until she like, all of a sudden she just stopped being able to outrun people and like,
no. Yeah. I was like, oh no, oh shit, this is bad.
She's human again.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, so you're trying to preserve people. This isn't good. So I get what you're trying to do for Canada. And then the cumulative effect that happens in the gold, whatever medal game y'all playing, right? It better be gold. But it's like you needed to have all those players on the field so that they could score. But yeah, it would have been nice if you didn't have the Kristen, Lindsay, Crystal, that you had Lynn, Sam. We're gonna ignore that back there. And then you had Alex.
9 players.
You had 9.
It's fine.
You had 9 players.
Yeah, we played with 9 today.
Even Abby would be fine. The liability at right back is so bad. It's like that.
I think he wasn't banking. I don't think he was banking on Abby Dahlkemper having the yips all of a sudden. Like that was a pretty certain position.
We were talking about this with Bria the other day. Like, since when did we worry about Abby Dahlkemper?
I don't know. Maybe she's hurt. Like, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's one thing. Is she hurt? And we don't know because that's the stuff you do when you're hurt. You had those.
But
or are you?
She's not reading it.
Or you overthinking because you know Chris. Well, so the issue also is Kelly O'Hara is up playing forward and in the midfield.
She's trying to be Abby, but she's not.
Abby's having to be a center back. Yeah, Abby's having to be a center back, fullback on an area that they're purposely exploiting if they're not trying to go after Crystal. So it's like Abby's having to overthink. And then
I see that.
So I mean that's part of the issue, and then the balls appear immediately because Kelly does something crazy, and Kelly's not sprinting back. And so that's why I was going to have Lynn in because it was like, I missed the play because Tobin's not all the way back healthy, so she's not doing it yet. Where I missed where the right winger was actually dropping back and putting into work, and effectively multiple times arrived right before Kelly to do the fullback job. Like,
Lynn was definitely playing right back today.
Yeah.
Like there was a moment where I was like, "Is Lynn Williams playing right back?"
She's playing forward. Yeah. So it'd been nice if you then had Kristen Press on the other side, stretching the thing, and she could have kicked. And they play together. They play off each other. This is why this is crazy. Like, stop stressing this out.
And he talked about the, pressing and wanting to use those particular players, right? Because the Dutch had seen the press essentially with either like Alex Tobin Kristen or like Kristen Rose, like that, and who triggered it. So they figured out sort of that sequence. But I don't think who he put in was better. Like I'm a little confused. And Tobin was still drifting right? She's on the right naturally. Like she's not. Yeah. So you basically had 2 right wing players, and she was always going to drift that way. So it really did leave that front left wing area open until you brought Kristen in. There were a lot of choices. Having said that, I think for most of the game we played, we were the better team.
Yes.
I think the Dutch had some good spells. And listen, Edom was great. Like she's good. I'm happy for her in that she's sort of getting that bugaboo of you don't score in big games because there's validity to that. But she scored against the United States today. I definitely think Alyssa could have done better with the second one.
Yeah, she should have only scored one. It should have only been one.
Yeah. But I mean, Alyssa also very much made up for it.
She did her part to claw back.
When it was time, like I knew once she saved that Meadham penalty, we were good.
Yeah. Oh man.
I really did. I still watched with my eyes closed, but like I felt good. And honestly, when did we become a team that was good at penalties? I was just very
I was surprised.
I was very shocked.
I was surprised when I heard
it kicked out in penalties.
They were like, never again. They were waiting their whole life for this. Never again. No, they were 4 really, now that I've been able to watch without the stress and with my eyes wide open, they were 4 very good penalties.
Yeah, they were really good.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
They were really, really good. I was like, wow, we come a long way.
Look at us putting a boot behind a ball.
Exercising our demons, and then, listen.
Let's never have those demons appear. Like they shouldn't.
I would rather win in regulation.
Yes, let's win in fucking regulation.
I mean, like it looked for a second like they were gonna run away with it. Like we're up like 2-1 and absolutely rolling, and then offside.
Oh.
Well, so today I'm wondering about the line judge because I was like,
they are too.
That really offsides? Yeah. Okay, so that's how I knew Kristen was tired because she ran off the first one. Yes, it was offsides.
Yeah.
But then the second one that she got called offsides on. If I knew Lindsay was super tired because normally Lindsay would have waited for Kristen to drift back on sides and then would have kicked that ball forward, and then that would have been a goal. And everybody else, even the Dutch, were tired because I was like, that's about to be a goal when that connects. But Lindsay quickly shot the ball. And I'm like, can y'all calm down? Y'all can win in extra time and we all got a penalty kick.
Yeah, they've seemed exhausted most of this tournament.
So it was like they were thinking, even Megan Rapinoe, it's like Kristen and Alex are open in the box. because everybody's tired. Just kick that. Don't try to score. Kick the ball. Service a pretty ball. It don't have to be pretty. Just kick it. So it ends in extra time. We don't go to penalty kicks, but no.
And honestly, that pass over the top was there, right? They just couldn't stay onside, but that was open most of the match.
Wait. So that's what I said. Alex was on sides, and that's what tripped me out because
because
I'm like, what is offsides? Because the Dutch player, she turned wide, so it kept Alex on sides, and actually Alex was actually looking to stay on sides.
Didn't she kick her foot back?
And then she kicked her foot back. So then it was sequences. So she was on sides when it arrived, and then in the other process where she could have went off sides, the player kicked the ball. So I thought that then it's a ball in play.
Yeah. So we also don't know what they're using. Like they're not like drawing the lines or anything.
Yeah, there's no, they don't show anything. So they're just kind of
looking at a screen and going,
like, you know what, the US doesn't have enough.
I don't know.
Alex Morgan seems particularly frustrated at this point. So, and I don't blame her because I think about 3 of those have been hers. So,
like I could be in this golden boot conversation, but
you could.
Well, you don't want to be in the golden boot conversation because you're not playing anymore. If you're
right. Well, yeah, that's true. Everybody who has the golden boot,
they're
gonna have to. They're gonna get
golden home. Yeah,
UPS golden boot.
Cursed conversation.
Yeah. So, I mean, congrats, but at the end of the day, I think they would much rather have the medal. So
yeah.
But now we move ahead, of course, to the semifinals. We've got Canada. Did you expect it to be Canada?
It was always going to be Canada, wasn't it?
No, because I couldn't go to sleep. So I watched the game. Brazil should have won that game in regulation.
Well, you're on the West. You guys are on the West Coast. Like, how are you guys like handling watching these games?
I woke up like toward the end of Canada. Brazil.
I watched the whole thing because I couldn't go to sleep.
I didn't watch the whole thing. So I woke up to that madness. And then I feel like it was still 0-0, or I woke up right when Ellen White scored. And I was like, oh, that's going to be over. And then that just turned into...
that turned
was not over.
Yeah. I didn't even watch that disaster.
Yeah.
Well, that greatness that popped off. But the Brazil, so I woke up because I couldn't stay asleep. And I was like, oh, Brazil's going to win this game because they're all in Canada's box. And Canada seemed like they were just desperate to just like stop Brazil from scoring. And then there were several chances. Stuff got called offsides. It was kind of all over the place. But they weren't trying to kill each other. It's because they were tired. And so when I woke back up, I think I fell asleep a little bit, then woke back up. And then I was like, oh, okay. It's still 0-0. That's interesting. And then again, it was like Brazil trying to score. Nope. And it kept going on and on and on and on. And then the substitute patterns, and particularly after Canada subs out all their attackers towards the end, I didn't understand what was going on. I was like, okay, Brazil's going for real win, and they had for real chances, and it didn't happen. So I thought it was going to be Brazil until penalties, but now that it's Canada looks super exhausted, like super duper. I know we were like, why did you take out Nichelle Prince? Why did you take out Deanna Rose? Seemed like normal, but she seemed the least of tired. But still super tired. Everybody else looked exhausted, like straight dying. I don't know how they're gonna play this next game. Like the cumulative effect of playing games like this is catching up to everybody, even people who attempted to rest. But Canada looks so exhausted, so it's gonna be interesting what that looks like.
And they're down a defender because I think Reverie can't play because she got 2 yellows. So so she can't play, and Canada's interesting, right? One, it's going to be the battle of coaches who make weird substitution patterns.
She's like,
Canada might be worse at it than we are, so that might actually save us,
right?
And I definitely think Kaylin Sheridan's the better goalkeeper, but also somehow if you put more duct tape on Stephanie LeBay, she seems to get better.
Apparently.
I don't know.
That's why I'm like, what is going on?
Like, I was like, she got crushed right before the shootout, and apparently it made her stronger, and she made saves in a row. Like, who knew?
I'm like, keep her in goal because I don't want Kaylin Sheridan blocking every freaking attacker's shot. And then we go into penalties.
Keep her safe.
Keep her.
I wonder what that looks like. I wonder if they make that move though. I wonder, particularly down a defender. Lave's struggling. Like,
well, I mean, so that would be logical, but their coach hasn't been doing logical things.
There you go. Yeah.
So it's like, because I mean, so if we want to, I don't want to bring up the Jill Ellis era, but in the Jill Ellis 2015
Sure.
There was a period of time, I think it was the game before the semifinal matchup. Mm-hmm. Everybody was like, Jill Ellis, please change your formation so that they don't lose this damn game. And they finally changed it. And then that won the semifinal, then that won the final.
Right.
And then she reverted in the Olympics. But whatever. I think this is the chance for Vlatko to have his breakthrough. And he puts
if we could just get through to him.
And I think he's comfortable playing Canada, right? Like, I think he would be more willing to try things and maybe put some fresher bodies on the bench for this game, just because it's Canada and we're probably going to get into a fight or kill each other or something of that nature.
Or just pass out from sheer exhaustion. On both sides.
Right.
Well, I mean,
both teams went to PKs, so yeah.
And it's all good. The cards cleared. The yellow card's cleared, because that was the other problem. Because part of why I don't think Tierna Davidson popped up is because she had a yellow.
Oh, did she?
I forgot. Yeah, because in the game before, there was right before in the Australia game, all these people getting yellows left and right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize if you get 2 yellows, you get suspended. And so I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, I would put Tierna on the bench, like, because I can't risk it not being on the thing.
Yeah.
But you don't expect Abby
the defender who's everything's going okay. We need her
to Yeah. And I think she'll be healthy and rested. I imagine he plays Tierna. I would hope he at least puts Casey on the bench. At this point, I don't understand. There's nothing that Kelly O'Hara does better than Casey Kruger. Nothing.
And
Casey Kruger will actually stay in the back
why
line.
Casey Kruger isn't playing more.
I don't know why she's not starting, but
well, and at least on the bench. Yeah. Emily Sines gonna get a medal. Like, put her on take her off the roster.
Why put her on the bench when you're never gonna bring her in?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What is she there? At least with Casey, you could go, okay, Kelly, you have, slipped and slide enough. Let's put Casey back there and magically watch everything stabilize.
Yeah.
Although I would love if you put Tierna, pray for Abby, have Becky, and then put Casey so that you can push Crystal
Dunn. Yep. I think Crystal Dunn is going to be a midfielder after this.
Yeah, it should be. I don't know if
she's put in her time now.
It should. For Sweden, for sure, she should be, so that they don't overload. So it'd be similar to the Dutch. The Dutch thought they were going to see Kristen Press and Roosevelt. And then it was like, surprise! Hey, Lynn, what you doing? And they weren't even ready for that. I expect that to happen for Sweden.
I think the secret weapon is Kat.
Well, that too.
Interesting. Yeah, she hasn't really had a lot of time so far.
I would honestly, like, if I'm being honest, I don't think we need a 9. Like, I would have her as a false 9.
Yeah.
I have thoughts. Or I would put Lynn and Kristen up top and like 2. So my dream formation, and we talk about these things.
But no, give it to me. We need it. We need it for
shout out. We believe 3-5-2 because we have enough defensive talent, I think, to be able to do that. That actually might take some pressure off of Abby. I know we don't have a lot of pace in our center backs, but I think if you maybe throw Tierna and Casey back there or in some way, just
put a couple of anchors there who can.
Right. And then Julia still gets to play pretty much her same position. I would tuck her a little bit closer to that back line just to make sure they're secure.
Just do her cannonball thing.
But it's the one way. If Sweden's going to plug in 4 in that midfield and you're plugging in 5, they're not going to be able to clog you. And Aslani's not going to be able to trap, which is really what they've been doing. And you get Crystal Dunn out wide, right? You're able to get that. They're not able to overload in a crowded midfield. And you can get balls over the top, because if they're going to do that, they're either going to be compact if you have the speed to stretch them, but either way, that back line's going to be thin and you can just start diving balls over the top.
And then maybe we're able to like connect some passes and like actually.
You can actually just bypass the midfield if you really want to.
Right. If you get there, because I watched the Australia-Sweden game, and Australia was doing a bunch of stuff where they're so disorganized. If they could just be organized in one game, they should have beat Sweden. And so they were doing stuff like, I'm still shocked that Sweden can't handle like lateral movement and then slants and then you rotating players. And so we did that as a team when we first played them under Vlatko in November 2019.
Yep.
Yeah. So that caused problems. Like we literally did the stuff to beat them that drives them insane. And they were on skates and fell apart. And even in the second half of that disaster class in game 1, when you had Megan Rapinoe was running laterally and then running up the field and it was throwing them all off. And then Kristen was sliding inside and so was Carlos, my bad. Carly.
Oh man. She's gonna search that. That's fine.
Okay, anyway, even Carly.
She hasn't blocked us yet, but there's still time.
Yeah. So even Carly, she they were able, if they would have just kicked the balls and nets, it caused Sweden problems because they were all caught up, sucked in. So if you had them 2 up top, you can't just throw 4 people on them.
Yeah.
They have too much talent. They can't handle that. That's one.
And they can track back on defense. Do you think though? Part of it is he doesn't start the same lineups ever, and so there's not we
don't know what we don't know what's in the notebook. We don't know what his dream team situation looks like. It's
so I don't know if I don't know if it's hard to do it because it's so hot. Because I'm I totally get, because I lived in that kind of weather.
Sure.
Where you running in 10 miles of that kind of heat and humidity, it's hard to exist. And so you got to figure out, like I said, the cumulative effects are going to start appearing in all these games. No matter how many times people rotated, you're going to start seeing people just exhausted. And so it's going to be the least exhausted, well-formed team is going to win a gold medal. And so it's you got to get them to these games, but do you want to go to the gold medal game?
You want to win?
What's the fucking lineup that's gonna get you the freaking gold medal? So he basically you haven't seen the lineups because he's trying to rotate players, but I mean the next 2 games and he said, well, no, it's different opponents. So I don't know what to say until we get to the World Cup. Yeah, and I'm trying to give him some grace too, because it's also his first tournament, right? He doesn't quite, and the Olympics are very different than the World Cup. You have less time. It's a really compact schedule. Obviously, they're playing in Japan where it's very hot, very humid. I think they escaped a typhoon recently. And of course, you're still playing in a pandemic, right? So there's just all sorts of things. I think the lack of crowd actually hurts the United States.
Yes. You're saying they're not used to playing in a silence.
I mean, they've been doing it, but at this point, the league, whether we should be open or not, there are fans in the stands.
Yeah. But I mean, particularly when you're tired, people going,
you need that extra energy.
Instead of what a couple of them, Kristen, Alex, we're talking about how you got to generate. It was important the team understand you're going to have to generate your own crowd hype to get yourself hyped up, even when things are going off the rails. You gotta go. Let's go.
Which is why, if I were the Dutch, I would have just been quiet.
You think that did the trick for the shootout?
Yeah, I'm just I wouldn't poke the bear.
Right.
Right. So there's a difference between not being scared of a team that's good and being better than a team that's good. That Dutch team hasn't changed since 2014. So it's not like you're bringing in fresh young players and you're going to throw us for a loop. And they had good moments. They also have one of the best strikers in the world. And that really is why they got 2 goals. It's not deeper than that.
Wait, hold on. It's defensive errors.
Oh, and that, right? Because they clearly exploited the same side everybody else exploits. Everyone on earth knows our right back is not good.
What? I think I'm most frustrated.
I think that's what frustrates me the most. You've had 2 years to figure that out. And it's not like we don't have good right backs.
We have one on the bench. We have a right back on the bench that we could be
used. You have a right back on the bench. You have one in Chicago who's damn good.
Right.
And is fast and can shut down fast players and wingers.
Right. Is there another forward we can bring tenacious. Down? Oh.
Right. I mean, that one too, right? You have one in Gotham that can do both, right? Who I think had she been on the team, she would have thrived today, because I just don't think they would have had anything for her. And Midge is probably the best. I have heard several people say of Midge, she's the best 1v1 striker we have, right? If you put her in a 1v1 situation, she's probably going to score, because she's just that good in those type of situations. And this would have been a game for that.
I mean, I hate to say this, but can you imagine if it would have been Kirsten, Midge, and Lynn?
I would love that.
Today?
I would love a lot of things. I will say, I do think we'll blow it up after. Not blow it up, but I think There will be
it's gotta change. You can't.
We're gonna see some changes.
You can't. Even if we win, I think there's an overhaul. One, I think there's several players that'll call it a career. Because I would, if I played in that heat in Japan at 36 years old, I'd be like, and that's the last tournament I'm done.
That's good. I'm good. I'm
tapping out.
Thank you for the gold medal. God bless. Have fun.
I don't have anything left to win.
That's my time.
Because how hot is it gonna be in New Zealand and Australia? Is it gonna be hot as hell?
Yeah, there's no reason for that. Let the young kids. Yeah, that's for young people. Like that's not. That's how I feel as a person these days. That's for young people. But yeah, I think. Listen, I love some good banter. I just think if you're gonna talk, can we curse on here? I don't want to.
I don't already. You're already gonna have to beat me out.
The old adage, talk shit, get hit, right? Like you're gonna. Yeah. If you're gonna talk it, you should do that. And I think
back it up.
I think when they look back on it, I mean, Serena Wegman doesn't have to worry about it anymore. I guess
that's true.
Gonna go to the other. Well, she's gonna go coach another team that collapses all the time, so that's gonna be fun for her.
Yeah, she can already go. She can already practice. They're already at home. And I wish I could watch that game.
They are. I'm not gonna lie. I was looking. I'm like, does this mean Angelina will be playing this week? Like, when is she coming back? Like, I'm just now looking at the roster.
Like, no. All those players aren't coming back to y'all. All right, it's not happening like that.
Are you don't think Paul Riley is trying to see how fast he can get Dabinia back?
Oh yeah, he's trying to see. Yeah, he's trying to see can Dabinia start like this weekend.
Give me like tonight. I need tonight.
I mean,
we'd be like, we're on a first class flight. We got you a first class flight, Dabinia.
And whoever's coaching, Orlando could definitely use Marta in the midfield because they have none. So or Ali Riley, I think there's some teams now that are like, I'll take the players that I have. Back, please. Thank you.
We'll pamper y'all. We'll make you feel better. But please, you're playing.
I would take a few weeks off. That would be different players will do different things. Yeah. But I just think it's interesting the sort of narrative. And I think people have been spoiled. I think 2019, and particularly new fans that have come into this. To me, this feels a lot like 2015, right?
It does.
It wasn't the best constructed team. Joe was a new coach, and their best game was the final. Like I didn't trust that team to win until the final.
Yes.
I think they got away with it.
I think this is a blend of 2011 World Cup and 2015. Because everybody's forgetting. Because even some of these all players, I'm like, excuse me, you were part of the team that stressed me the hell out when y'all waited to the very last second to win that damn game.
Yes.
Like, we forget the Marta almost beating the United States and taking them to the final in 2011. Like, did we forget that game? I vividly remember that.
Forehead of goal, baby.
Yeah, I vividly remember, like, we're going to lose this game. I cannot believe it. And it should have ended in regulation. I cannot believe it. And then it happens. And then they turn around and losing PKs in the gold medal in the cup game. And so it's like, y'all forget the stuff. And I was like, I forget. Because even in the World Cup for 2019, like, it was stressful to a point, but then they won.
Yeah.
Where this one is like, God, they're playing boo-boo. And then it's like, it's always like this. It always is an ebb and flow of boo-boo.
Well, like going into it, it was just a huge winning streak and nothing but sweeping successes.
Yeah. And I think if you're new to the team, you haven't suffered yet. Right? Like you haven't done it.
Sip on the house blend of regret and just sip on that.
But the thing is, it's not as bad because like it was tripping me out when people were like, well, are they gonna go have a mutiny against Vlatko? I'm like, no. I mean, Vlatko might do some crazy stuff, but he's still intelligent in this. Like, I think this is the first time they had a coach that genuinely gave a damn about their health. And so his whole game plan was to get through, even if y'all come out flat.
Right.
First game, which probably is the thing that shook him. So he had to prepare to get them right so they don't get knocked out. Even if that happens, I'm gonna make sure you're healthy to get through the games. Unlike the past, Jill would have had everybody playing every game.
Yeah.
And then they would have lost today.
Yeah.
I think he's a very different coach, right? As somebody who's had him as a coach. There's times when you're like, you're overthinking. Like, I think my biggest thing of Vlatko is he overthinks it a lot. He's got a lot of ideas in his mind. And I think too, it's interesting watching him go from a league team where whatever collection of talent he has is what he has, and times has had to do more with less, to going to the best team in the world, right? Where you are spoiled for choice. And all these ideas you've always had, can come true, essentially, right? Like anything you can think of, you can literally just pluck somebody from the national team pool, plug them in, and they can do it, right? And so I think part of it is like this just excitement about, oh, this is the dream. But also like I have to coach a tournament, manage hours. It's a quick turnaround. I have a smaller squad. It's the middle of a pandemic. The weather's the weather's not great, and there's no fans. I don't, and it's his first tournament, right? It's his first major tournament, and he hadn't lost before, right? So I think all of those things collectively are sort of coming to a head. Having said that, sometimes you win ugly. It counts the same, right? So I think his thing is to just get through it. I honestly think if we make it to the championship game, we will play our very best game.
Right. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think the most wonderful, I think this game, the next game has potential to be stressful to a point, but there will be the beginnings of the brilliance because he's got to set it up. Mm-hmm. If you're going to set up the brilliance, various players need to appear next game, right? And then the next game is going to whip, I think it could be similar to what happened in the World Cup in 2015, where it was just a complete shellacking.
Yeah.
Because it's the proof point. Because the Swedes have been off here running their mouth. They've been
they have also been been chatty, but at least they've been winning. So
they've been winning and chatty, yeah. But I'm like, y'all only have one legit striker, and they still got to beat Australia, because that's the other thing. Because Australia flashed some things that I'm like, if Australia can put it together for one game, if they are not too exhausted, then they can beat them.
And the truth of the matter is, like, yes, I think Sweden's the better team, but Australia has the best player on the pitch. Yeah. And is in the same way that the United States sort of grows into tournaments, Sam Kerr tends to grow into tournaments. I think she's going to be a menace to them.
Yeah, she's going to
because she makes those lateral runs. Like, she knows how to get in the spaces, and there's not a whole lot of people fast enough on that team to keep up with her, or strong enough. Like, you're not going to knock Sam Kerr off of a lot of spots. Right. Now, will she maybe do a little flopperooski sometimes? Yes.
You do too.
We all sell things sometimes. A little CONCACAF shithousery, as they say.
It's there's medals on the line now. You have to do what you have to do.
Yeah,
it's part of the game. I still like in the women's game though that they don't necessarily like ride on the ground for long amounts of time, unless you're Marta and you're feeling away that day.
Because then when we played them for that ridiculous tie thing situation that happened in the third game, they was up there flipping and flopping like, Sam,
everyone just wanted that game to pass. Yeah. We were just passing the time.
Yeah, they were flipping and flopping. I'm like, you weren't hurt.
Australia
didn't even touch you.
They like some theatrics. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
So we can have that.
So that'll be interesting. But I think if you're believing in the fate, I think it kind of has to be Sweden in the finals to exercise the final demon, right? We got the penalty kicks out of the way. Mm-hmm. We'll play a very familiar candidate in Canada. I think we can beat Canada. Like, I do. I'm not going to put anything past Canada. I think they have a lot of talent, but I've been saying for about a year, I think they're a tournament away. Yeah. So I think they're coming. I think Canada, Mexico, Italy, Norway got sneaky good again. But there's like a handful of teams coming. I think Nigeria's coming. Like, there are teams that I think by 2023 will have it figured out. But this, like, the gap, and then with the pandemic, probably delayed them a little bit. So I think Canada is a tournament away because they're young. So yeah, I think we can do it, but it's gonna be a violent game.
Yeah, it'll be a
violent game. It's gonna be a tired game at the end.
But I actually think we'll win in regulation, and I think Sweden and Australia will go to extra time.
Yes.
Ooh, I like that. Any bold predictions, Skye?
Yeah.
Skye thinks Australia is gonna win.
I think Australia can win because they flashed a lot of stuff that caused them problems, and they should have beat them the time in the group stage. Like, when Sam Kerr missed a penalty kick, and if she missed literally a ball, like, kicked the ball in the net, Sam, but she was so exhausted. So it's like, if this is your chance to get to the gold medal round,
right?
And also could sneak up on Sweden because they've won all these games, right? Right. And they haven't lost yet, and so this could be the very game that we beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then Australia didn't show their whole thing to you, because they figured they'd run into you. And so if they actually implement what they want, and then they're like, they want the gold medal more, they can beat them. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think it's always dangerous to play a team twice.
Yeah, that's it.
I think it's always very dangerous to play a team twice in the same tournament.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you told me Australia won, I wouldn't be super shocked. Do we play first or does Australia? Do they play?
We play first. We play first.
4 a.m.
1 o'clock. Ugh. That was rough last time. No,
you just gotta stay up.
I don't want to. It's Monday too. Ugh. Mondays are terrible on their own.
Yeah, I always wondered what I would do if I were over there, and I don't know. I don't know what I would do if I could handle being team up all night.
This is a good this is a dry run for Australia.
It really is.
That's gonna be worse.
Same.
That's a month worth it. That's a month.
Yeah, it's just gonna be nonstop.
Yeah.
No, I'll be like, I'll see y'all later. Good luck.
I don't like soccer anymore. Have you heard?
Well, and I'm excited because now CONCACAF gets 14, so this is gonna be bananas.
Hey, let's go.
It's gonna be bananas.
That's gonna be really
I can't wait for qualifying. It's gonna be ridiculous.
Yeah,
and by then we should have a much younger, much more terrifying.
See, that's the thing. So if I wake up at the crack of dawn for World Cup, I expect us to have a legitimate roster. Like I expect to see Mitch Purse, Andy Sullivan, Trinity Rodman, several people, all kinds of people. I'm expected to go, please, for the love of God, put this person in as a 9, or can you get it right back? We shouldn't go through that crap. Like we should be on our way to victory. And so I should feel good. I shouldn't be stressed out. I shouldn't have a panic attack at 7 a.m. because of penalty kicks. And
I think we will, right? I think this is sort of like when a coach comes in the middle of the season, it's not your squad.
Yeah.
You just try to maintain it. You try to win with the players you have. But there's no tournament next year, right? So I think after this, particularly if we win, right, Vlatko would sort of have free range to say, these are the players I want. This is what I'm trying to do. This is the vision I sold y'all on. This is why y'all hired me.
Yeah, like Sydney LaRue needs to get in the streets. My bad.
Yeah, we could have used Sydney LaRue today too. We could use Sydney LaRue against the
That's why I'm mad at even Sydney, because I'm like, Sydney, you could say, okay, give me a couple, like, okay, put me in the pool. But I'm not ready yet.
Her against Sweden would have been my favorite thing.
Yeah, because she would have banged Aslani into the.
Oh, they would have fought.
Yeah,
they would have fought.
Yeah, it'd have been an injection.
But if we play Sweden, though, I would start Christy Mewis because Aslani and Christy Mewis are very similar players to me. And you can push Christy Mewis; she's gonna push you back. Like she's an asshole. I need you need that. You need that.
Yeah. And
she's a throwback. She's a throwback player.
And so, I mean, if they're going to try to run the same, even if we talk about Sweden, if they were going to try to run the same scheme, I would even make sure you take care of Aslani so she's not trying to target whoever. I wouldn't even put Lindsey Horan out there immediately. I'd use different players.
I wouldn't start Lindsey.
Yeah, no. I think
unless if you do start Lindsey, though, start her as the 9. And then you have somebody else behind her.
Interesting.
To where she comes running into the box. And so it's different if Lindsey Horan full force is attacking and is not playing the 9, not 6. You can't stop that. And so what you gonna do? Try to cut her off and whoever else off, and then let Kristen and then I'd have Lynn run through and just beat you and just like destroy you. And then you sit here looking at it's not even halftime, it's 5-0. It'd be similar to that game. Like they need to go back to the tactics.
From the first game.
Beat them that first game because Carly and Kristen were causing all kinds of problems, and they even had a couple of offsides that game. Yeah, it was 3-0 30 minutes in. Like,
I mean, it felt like, I remember press running literally box to box and scoring.
Yeah. And even when she scored her 60th goal, she literally went wide. She put all these defenders on the ground and then decided to kick. And so if she's in her bag like that at that point, then, you know, you can just have it all across the whole thing. I need to be happy and like, hell yeah, for a gold medal game. I do not need to be stressed.
No stress.
Yeah. I'd rather not be
120th minute nonsense. Just
put it over. It needs to be over at halftime.
I'm laughing because I imagine Lindsey Horan watching this and immediately showing this video to Vlatko because she would love nothing more in her life than to be the 9.
Because I can always see this. Can you imagine the looks? Because like it's like with the Mexico game when they lined up and they were like, I was like, oh shit, what are they about to run out here? Like if they line up at the 4, whatever the hell, and it flips whatever format, because that's the other thing. They got to rotate positions because Sweden can't handle things going around.
In game,
they were over there. Now they're over there.
Yeah. I mean, or even seeing, you know, it's coming because when you see why in the hell I had never seen Juilliard drift on the wing to serve his balls. Like it's gonna happen. It's gonna
go there.
I think he would do that, right? I think it does take a lot of endurance to be able to switch those formations in the middle of the game. But I think if his plan is to save it for the final and I really think he went into this thinking we're going to have to play Sweden in the final.
Yeah, he probably did. Yeah.
I really do. Then I think all the stops because you're not preserving them. You're not preserving energy at that point. Yeah.
You getting the gold medal.
Diabolical. You get to be diabolical in the final.
But we do need to see. I do need to see Katarina Macario on the bench this next game.
Yeah,
like she needs to be on the bench.
I would like to see that.
She to me is the secret weapon because they don't know how to. They're not going to know how to defend her.
Yeah, they don't know how to defend her. And then you make sure she's able to go. She don't need to be on nobody's left, right. She needs to be central.
Central.
So she can just do whatever. Just sit her.
I mean, she does it.
Just go.
She does it well. She does it pretty well at Lyon. So yeah, I mean, they're pretty good. I've heard.
Because even if you were to play, she was the fake 9, right?
Yeah.
And then you had Lindsay. If you had her and Lindsay lined up with Lynn and Kristen, oh shit, what's going on here?
Even if you did that, you could have Lindsay as the 10. You'd have to figure out the spacing.
Yeah, that's
because Lindsay will
go where Lindsay wants to go sometimes.
She'll cheat.
Okay, never mind. So we don't put Lindsay there. We put Christy Mewis and
yes, Christy Mewis
and Sam. Or I'm trying to figure out how we slide Rose in there. Whatever, we figure it out.
I would bring Rose off. I would bring the Rose off
US attackers.
I would bring Rose off the bench because if they're gonna have to press for 60 and then Rose Lavelle comes off the bench, I would be very upset. Rose Lavelle is
that's true.
Like as somebody who's seen her in person, like
she's ridiculous.
TV does not do her speed justice. She is fast. And she's quick and she's very good on the ball. And she's a bit of a selfish player, right? Like she's going to try something in a game.
This would be the perfect game. Oh, because I definitely want Rose and Katarina playing together so they can start doing the foolishness they did with the Columbia where they were trying to do bicycle kicks. And it's like, you can't be bicycle kicking on people. That's when, Rose tried to do a bicycle kick and the Columbia player pushed her. Like, I wanted to be that kind of level of disrespect that we're like, okay, they won this game. I want Swedish players pushing Rose and Katarina because they up here trying to do tricks, trying to bang stuff off a bar. I want even if you bring Tobin in the game, she's trying to bang a ball off the bar for somebody.
Just trying to go like 3 bar into the net.
Yeah, I feel like they would be inclined to remind Sweden
that too.
At best, you're as talented. At best.
Yeah, I think the intent is to be an asshole and whip their ass. Like it's not going to be a close game.
And I think it's Vlatko's ego too, right? He's been outcoached by that guy twice.
Oh yeah.
And I think he's like, I'm not that bad a coach. Like, I'm saving it though. So I feel I feel a lot better saying all that today. Now that it
was a period of time where it was like
and at no point should we have been losing that game. So I was just like, oh God.
Yeah. I mean, but it's the same thing. It's the vibe that like Brazil had. Well,
yeah.
Even Great Britain probably had the same vibe. They shouldn't have probably been losing. I gotta watch that game.
I am gonna watch that match. I heard it was good. I just feel like I don't care if you're Great Britain, you're still England. At the end of the day. The England
still England out, and it's still not coming home. Sorry.
It's not coming home. And I just Ellen White annoys me so much.
She had a triple.
I don't know what it is,
but
I don't know what it is.
She's so good in tournaments.
Yeah.
She's so good in tournaments. Having said that, Ellen White can't be the only one scoring goals.
Right. You have Ebony Salmon in the United States. You have Lauren James up here bench pressing oxes that could have been in your field. You left Jess Fishlock off the roster.
You left Knobs. You left players that I really think could have been.
Yeah, they were just like, we're gonna take Man City, and that's it.
And a couple. We'll sprinkle some other players.
Yeah, that's why it's so hilarious. They lost to Australia. The team.
I think Sam said something, didn't she?
Yeah, the team that you put that literally is playing in that league to play together, to practice together, and they beat you. And then Sam said it was wild that Team GB had no Chelsea players, so they had no idea how to deal with her. And so it's like, that's crazy. Like, why wouldn't you bring players from every club?
Yeah, well, they could have easily.
I mean, they had Chelsea players, but they didn't play them all that.
Yeah, they didn't play in that too. So, that too.
Yeah, because it was a lot of Man City.
No, Frank Kirby.
I mean, Rachel Daly, I guess, is the exception, but Frank Kirby wasn't.
Was Rachel Daly playing as a forward or was she playing as a defender?
Defender, I think. Because they didn't take Greenwood.
Daly as a defender?
Not that I think that would have been better, but yeah.
Well, they were in a desperate pitch, but I mean, like, there's better. Like, you can do better. You can be better.
You can just like assemble a lineup of better.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. I think they'll question some of their choices. Quite frankly, I'm questioning a few of ours. there's no point in this tournament where I'm like, we could not have used Andy Sullivan or Mitch Burse. Like,
let's not talk about
particularly because you really haven't played Emily's on it, right? So
I don't understand why she's on the roster.
I would have at least swapped Mitch.
I even have a question. Were you supposed to? Is everybody supposed to take for your fourth player? Did it have to be a goalkeeper?
I don't know.
Because I even look at Brazil. Did they take 4? They didn't take 3 goalkeepers. They took 2. So it's like
it might be.
Why the hell wasn't you could have been Midge, and then you could have had Andy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why. It might have just been like,
that way,
I'm gonna take a goalie because that's what I'm used to.
Yeah, because particularly if you have because then you could have switched Andy with Juilliard back and forth.
Give her a blow. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, I mean, because particularly with the Sweden game, if you weren't ready to bring in Julie, Andy Sullivan, that we probably score in that game.
Yeah.
He may draw.
Yeah. But that's her natural position. So that's not.
And I mean, Andy has to play defense for Emily and Kelly at the Spirit all the time. So shit, like
they know each other.
I was saying that today. I was like, does the Spirit want them to come back that fast? Like they're not worse.
They're doing okay without.
Yeah, that defense
pretty good. They look pretty good.
Are we sure Emily Sonnet's better than Tegan McGrady at this point? Like, yeah. I think
there was a lot of allocation money involved in these.
Yeah, they're paying a lot for those two. So I imagine
$1,000 of Bob's.
Yeah, just it just feels good. It feels good, right?
Well, I mean that team runs through the midfield in the front line anyway. But yeah. So it's like I said, stressful. I think we're all a little more cranky just because we have to wake up so early. Yeah, and a lot more stressed. And I was like, I'm just emotionally raw. So yes, now that I have had coffee, not sleep, I have a lot.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. Oh no. No. She said she felt better and then she froze. We broke her.
Oh no. Hello.
A lot more perspective.
Oh no.
Am I back? Am I back?
You froze.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the universe being like, no, you don't get to.
No, you're not better. What are you saying?
Well, I probably lost my thought now, but that's okay. But yeah, I do. I feel better.
That's good. That's good. It's good to be in a better headspace now that we're moving on. Do you feel the same way? Do you feel even more better about knowing all the things?
I feel a little less stressed because it's Canada. And again, that's not to take anything away from Canada. They could very easily win the game. But it's very familiar opponent. And it feels, everything that's happening almost feels like, that's about right. And I think it would be very interesting for people to watch the US win, like when they're not playing their best.
Yeah.
Because I think that's an interesting part of the rhetoric. Like, oh, the world is catching up. But that's gotta be, if you're catching up, it's gotta be really frustrating for us to still win.
Yeah. Because even in the Sweden game, I was like, yo, for as bad, they had the worst game in the world where everything that was bound to happen, even to a good team, just appeared in that game, where nobody could score, where everybody was all over the place. They came out flat. It was just a hot mess. They had so many scoring chances, they still should have won. And like, if you look at the film, you have to go, they looked horrible. They were terrible. And they still should have won the game. That's gotta suck. Yeah. That's gotta freaking suck.
Yeah. Like that's what I'm saying. Playing twice is always dangerous because I'm like, the odds of them being that off again aren't really high.
Right. And then when you start seeing, so the problem is because I gave 2, so now he's going to go back to the tapes for all the games they played, right? Because he's that diabolical. And he's going to even look back at the first time in April and see the reason they were overloading was to try, because they can't shoot well, was to force set pieces. And so if you counter all that and shut that down, and then you said, for real, you got to come through and try to score. And then they were able to effectively then push you back and have you on skates and tee off on you. Then what are you going to do? And I even think even Australia stared at that game plan because they did a bunch of stuff that I was like, they had to look at the what the US could have done to do things, because they were sending random people into the box, like left and right. And so I was like, if Vlatko sees this, he could do it. But he's not trying to show it because he don't want the Swedish coach out here,
very cards right here.
Yeah. Right. You don't want him over here. And let me make this little change. But yeah.
Right. So yeah.
Does it feeling good? Feeling good about the future?
I feel great about the future.
Excellent.
The future of this tournament, yes. The future of the team, even more so though. Like I think there's generationally good talent coming to the point where I don't know if we're going to be able to fit everybody on this World Cup squad. Like it's going to be very interesting. I think it's about finding balance between veterans and young talent. Right. But I do think there's going to be a pretty big turnover. I think like the Sids and the Mals come back into the pool just to have some of that veteran experience. But yeah, I mean, the talent is in the youth at this point. And that's exciting, right? And there's going to be more Black women of color on the team. And I think just bringing those styles, cultures, all of those things into the fold is going to be, interesting. Because really the future faces of the team right now are what? Kat, Brianna, Trinity. Like they don't look the way they've always looked. So it's going to be interesting culturally. I guess that's the nicest way to say it in terms of like current US fan base versus what that could look like 2 or 3 years from now. But the talent will be undeniable. And I think when we play in 2023, the rest of the world's going to be in for a bit of a surprise.
They were like, oh, snap. Oh, damn. I thought we caught up. It's going to be different with the 9.
We're catching them.
Yeah, it's going to be different. The 9 is like moving all over the place. There's no 9. Like, or, the midfielders, appear on the front line.
Right.
All kind of crazy stuff happens.
I don't think he's obsessed with the idea of hybrids for no reason.
Yeah. Because he want to do some crazy stuff. He just want to
be
like, let's have a 1 back. And then we just attack.
I think coaching in this particular country, it's one of the few places you can find those players, right? Like I don't think most European styles of soccer would allow for that. They focus on one position. It's about the art.
It's about the art of football.
It's philosophical.
Pinky up. It's the art of football.
Right. And then again, there's not better or worse. There's just different. But I think the fact that again he has all of that at his disposal to do like, oh, nobody's ever been able to do this. Watch me.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool. And I think I will take care of doing this for everyone else.
And I think, like I said, even if he wins this tournament, I think his ego is definitely taking a hit. So he's gonna
right. Because it's like you get the reality of snap. If I roll out the same thing, I'm gonna get embarrassed. Because it's different if France is like fully loaded and we play them in April. That's probably a L. So it's like, and like you can't deny when you see something where you got the way Tobin Heath or Roosevelt interact with Katarina Macario. Or when you had Midge Purse on the pitch, out the blue, just playing effectively the right whole side, and how she was interplaying with all the established players, and then got a goal, and it was simple, and it was like amazing. Like when you actually then put all that talent on the field, like how phenomenal it'll be, and how teams will be like, but we thought we caught up though. We thought we caught up. Y'all got better.
So I think, people have caught up to this, the way the team is constructed now. Right. I don't think, again, most of them aren't here to see what's coming.
The next evolution.
And the NWSL is not good enough for them, right? So I'm like, well, that's great. We'll just be cooking up something special over here that we can just throw on you because you weren't paying attention. So I'm good with that. But I think that'll be interesting. You said Midge Purse. I was like, that's Midge is a 10 is my new agenda. So we're gonna see how that goes.
Yes, put it out.
Midge is a 10. That would be
that'd be great.
Yeah, I'd be here for that. But
we need to see Crystal as a 10 in this tournament.
I just need Crystal Dunn to be in the midfield. She's earned the right.
I'd like her to just not have to play back anymore.
She's earned the right. We have enough defenders coming now. She doesn't have to do that anymore.
Because I'm like, what happens in the game? Like the gold medal game against Sweden. If you put her in the midfield and she's not having to defend, what chaos happens because she's creating and they can't overload her and she's slipping and sliding and diming and interacting and maybe scores goals. What happens?
I mean, I imagine putting Crystal Dunn in her best position probably will yield good results.
I know. Can you imagine?
Imagine. Yes. The greatness that happens. If it looks like this in Portland with young talent, oh my God, if you put her with the older, if you put her in there with the
sound the bells.
If you put her in there with the Kristen Press, Lynn Williams, Alex Morgan, Tobin Heath, Oh my God. The start missing the ball.
What?
Exactly.
What happens? Oh my God. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to hopefully see that after the World. After the World Cup. That's not.
It should be no World Cup.
I meant the Olympics. I meant the Olympics.
You're pointing with the remote. It should actually be. No, we should in one game, or 2 games. We should see the beginning of the evolution of what's going to happen because you're gonna have to do it because they owe us for what happened today.
Exactly. We demand. All right. I think the friendlies will be a farewell tour for a lot of people.
I think you're right about that. I think we'll be saying goodbye to some folks.
Yeah, but it's time.
It's time. Yeah, like Becky's probably like, we're not doing this.
Why?
Anymore.
I'm not doing this anymore.
I can't be the adult anymore. Please, a new one.
Yeah. She can't be out here having to cover ground, like for foolishness.
You want me to full sprint?
Full sprint to what?
Yeah, Harley can go to the NFL, go do her kicking.
Yeah, she got kicking.
Go.
Yeah. No, she said she going to World Cup. She said she going to World Cup, y'all.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
As a coach?
Yeah.
As an analyst?
No, she said 2023 is like a year and a half away, man. We got it.
I actually think Carly Lloyd would be a very good analyst. I
think she would too. I think she'd
be really honest. I think she'd be incredibly honest.
She'd be like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
What are y'all doing?
What are you doing? What was that? She just get the telestrator out and just like circle. Like, what were you? What was this? What were you doing there?
Oh yeah. Oh man, her and Alexi. Oh man, can you imagine in a studio?
I feel like they're more alike than different, but she actually knows soccer.
What's going on? Yeah, but I'm saying she probably like, "What are you talking about?"
Like, I think so wrong.
I enjoy when Heather O'Reilly does it, so that works too.
Yeah.
As long as.
Yeah.
I mean, but even in the next cycle, there's gonna be players. They gotta get comfortable being on the bench. So that's the other thing. That's gonna be the wild. Like you could be on the roster, but you're not starting.
She didn't like being on the bench last World Cup. So,
But
even some of these starters, like it's not.
Yeah.
If a certain right backer is still starting in the World Cup, we have a problem. Or
There's
even a certain 9, if she's in the rotation starting solely and hasn't improved. When you have a Sydney and Trinity arrive, we gotta have a discussion.
I think she's self-aware. I think she knows.
Yeah, I think she's aware too. Yeah.
I think she knows.
I think she knows.
I don't think you make that move to Tottenham if you're not aware. But yeah, it's coming, right? And it looks like specific striker. So like I said before, Abby Wambach ain't walking through that door. So and if she did, it probably wouldn't work now. So I think the next crop is gonna look very different, play very different. But yeah, I'm excited for the future. Maybe we'll get to go to Australia and New Zealand. We'll see.
Get Australia.
I would like to go. I heard it's very gorgeous, but yeah.
Just get some big old spiders chasing you.
Yeah, that's the part.
Fantastic.
The critters in Australia are next level.
The critters the size of this microphone, just walking on you.
Yeah, and they just chill out in your room.
And just kind of hang out.
Hug you. Yeah, like tap you on the shoulder.
Oh, hey.
They've got like things I haven't heard of over there. I don't know about that.
It's like living in Florida.
Yeah.
Flying roaches, flying spiders, jumping spider crickets, all that crap.
And I don't miss that.
Wait.
I don't miss that.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't miss that either.
On that wonderful note. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining us today. Where can folks find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So they can find us on Twitter and Instagram at SBFC_podcast. And that is where we are most active. We're working on our website coming soon.
Yeah.
And we've got some other things in the works for the people. The people have demanded it.
People have demanded.
Yeah, we get a lot of demands. We have very loyal and very, I think aggressive is not the right word.
Very honest, direct.
Yeah,
very
direct.
That's very direct. Like, y'all need to do do
Yeah.
Like, are y'all gonna do this? Like,
you not really an ask. We don't really get asked.
You told how she got
told. Voluntold maybe. So yeah, but we're just, we're here. We're excited to continue, promoting Black women in soccer, be that as players, agents, ownership, all of that. And that's really our purpose. That's why we started it. And so far it seems to be going pretty well. Got some nice vocabulary out there. people seem to like. So you can see all of those on our site. I mean, there's plenty of hashtags and things like that. Hoping to still keep the tunes and just adding different segments to the show and trying to keep people entertained and informed and educated about the beautiful game, because it really is my favorite game. So yeah,
so
Skye, you got any?
That's so beautiful. Yeah, it just sounds like amplify. Amplify like a collective of voices that have always existed, but the media has not paid attention to. Because I mean, this is like, it's not we like surprise, we like soccer, like it's always been like that. So whether you play what I played or you're just a fan, like Black, brown, everybody likes this game. It's probably the most popular sport in this country. I say this all the time. So that at some point we get to the point where the culture appears for what soccer looks like for the United States, since people aren't just like, it's direct and this. Like we get to see the full culture, what it looks like. Because I mean, if you had access to play for all levels, like you'd then have to account for what does it look like playing soccer in Georgia on clay or in hay or whatever, or in Montana on a tundra, or did you learn how to play on a basketball court or concrete or something in the Northeast or something, or what weather, like the stuff you do. Because like even when I played, people would look at our team that was predominantly Black and they'd be like, y'all play like y'all see basketball, because that's what we were modeled and thought was cool. Or we played like what we saw from Brazilian teams play. Like the different, like it's so cool if the game was accessible and then you had it appear on the professional levels, what it will look like. Because just immigrant influences, cultural influences, like it'd be so hybrid that the world will never have seen it before. That I mean, there's no limit of what the game could look like. You could have like a 1-2-5 something crazy formation you've never seen before, or people you don't even have formation, they just line up. You're like, what is going on? You know,
don't worry about it. We're playing.
I agree with that. And I think that's like a really beautiful perspective. I mean, kind of like France, like just in terms of bringing all of these different things together, right? Sports are political, sports are cultural because they're people, right? So bringing all of those, and we have such a unique mixture of people in this country, for better or for worse, that can really bring that. And so just bringing your culture proudly to the sport, because at the end of the day, soccer is for everybody. So
and I mean, there's so much you can do because you have a whole big pitch. It's so easy. You just get a ball, you just putting it in the net. There's so many ways to do that. I mean, that's what makes it so hard. It's like playing a French horn, where you can play with any key, you can play any song. I'm a band geek, but like
French horn.
But even like if you played with the soccer, like there's so many ways to put balls in the net. Like so, it's learning the basics, but then what do you do to separate yourself? What does that look like, and what's cool to you? And then even like when they say the culture bleeds through, you know, some teams aren't super hyperly aggressive because it doesn't look that way for. It's not a cultural norm to do, versus other teams are super arrogant because it's like whatever, you know, you have these different perspectives, and like we still haven't seen what it looks like here completely, because everybody doesn't have access. But you know, if we can help bring that, and then you know, bring the coin to the game, that too. That'd be great.
It's awesome. I mean, your guys' podcast is great. And I also love that I learned a lot about soccer just listening to it, because you guys take me to school.
Oh, yeah, you like the soccer school. You like
I love the soccer school.
Good. You're doing better than my mother. She's like, I Googled this today. I still don't know what's happening.
So when we had the website, you'll be able to see stuff, because it's like, But we were realizing, we were talking to some people like, I don't watch soccer, but y'all was funny. So I listened to the podcast. It was like, okay, let's try to talk about it so you get it. Because once you understand it, I mean, it's even when I played when I was younger, playing at the YMCA, I kind of knew stuff. I was just trying to nutmeg people and just try to embarrass people. That was the whole game. But when I got to high school and actually paid attention to the game and really learned it, which is kind of be traumatizing when you're in game and learning what a corner kick is. And then you that day were asked to be goalie. And it's like, hey, what? You know, you got a whole lot going on. I mean, that's trial by fire, but it's like to be able to educate people so that it's like, oh, that's why they did what they did. And that's why they're complaining about, you know, somebody being the 6 who should be the 8. Or why they're like mad that the right back situation is a problem, you know, It gives a perspective. And then you start like, oh, okay, cool. And then you get sucked in.
Yeah, you guys are doing great stuff, and keep it going because you're awesome. And thank you again. And please get some sleep tonight. My goodness.
Yeah, that's my next move.
I gotta get sleep because there's so many soccer games coming up.
Yeah, there's a lot of soccer tomorrow too. So
too many. Who could say?
It's a lot. Like sometimes you're like, this is a lot of soccer.